Pioneers are explorers. Pioneers are innovators. Pioneers are leaders. We are Marietta College. We are pioneers. Find out how you can become a PIO at www.marietta.edu.
Maryland is going to see its first African-American governor.
Missouri officers are being hailed as heroes.
We'll have these stories and more. News Center 15 starts now. Good afternoon and welcome to Wednesday's edition of News Center 15. I'm Marissa.
And I'm Abby Scott.
Topping our news this morning, Missouri officers are being hailed as heroes for saving a 1-month-old baby. The Kansas City police officers were called on Thursday after the 1-month-old stopped breathing. The officers started doing chest compressions and back thrusts. Turns out the baby stopped breathing because she has RSV. The baby is still in the hospital and on a breathing machine. As the days go by, however, the baby improves and is stable. The mother hopes the baby girl will be home for Thanksgiving.
Maryland has made history. The governor election for the state of Maryland is going to see its first African-American governor, Democrat Wes Moore. Moore is a best-selling author, with being his first public office run. He beats Republican Dan Cox in a state that Democrats outweigh Republicans 2-1. The victory flips the governor's office, and of the 36 governor races this election year, Maryland and Massachusetts represented the best chance for Democrats to regain a governor's office. Wes's slogan was "Leave no one behind." As a former combat veteran and CEO of one of the nation's largest anti-poverty organizations who campaigned for equal opportunity for Maryland residents.
Hey, I wonder what the weather looks like today.
Here to provide a first look at our current conditions is Landon Santini.
Well, as you can see here, we've got quite a lot on our schedule today. Right now, we're going to take a look at our current conditions. Right now, it feels like 61 outside with some sunny conditions. And so we're going to have a bit of a dry day today. We've got a UV index at a very moderate level of 3. The air quality is fair at 33 and a very low pollen count. It's good for your allergies, but it's bad for another reason, and I'll tell you why in just a moment. We're going to be having winds running up to the east today at about 3 miles per hour, and the humidity is 64%. Now, that's great in terms of being relatively calm today, but downside of that is that for both Washington County and Wood County, today from 10 in the morning to about 6 p.m., the weather advisory has issued a warning to be cautious that there is a bit of a danger of wildfires today. So if you're out and about, taking advantage of the last bit of warm weather we're going to be having this week, probably hold off on barbecuing until the very least the weekend. We're going to have one more bit of warmness going into tomorrow, but I'll give you more details on what our weekend has in store when I return later on for the 5-day forecast. But until then, back to you guys at the desk.
The tropical storm known as Nicole is forecasted to strengthen into a hurricane as it makes its way to the northwestern part of the Bahamas and Florida's Atlantic coast. Warnings and watches have been put into place Tuesday throughout the region. It is expected to hit the Bahamas late Tuesday and strengthen to a Category 1 before hitting Florida either later Wednesday or early Thursday. However, there are still areas who are still healing from Hurricane Ian that had hit in late September. As of right now, the Hurricane Center is not positive of the path of Nicole, but some Florida counties have made the call for mandatory evacuations beginning Wednesday morning.
The Republican governor for Florida, Ron DeSantis, has won his election for another term over Democratic challenger Charles Crist. The victory bolsters his rise with the grand old party with a possible eyeing of the White House. Florida is seen as the nation's largest swing state. DeSantis raised more money than his opponent, Crist, who had previously served as a Republican governor for Florida. Crist aimed most of his platform towards the moderate voters, criticized DeSantis as a bully, and trying to stop the streak and switch the losing streak for the Democrats for the state.
Coming up, a special look at the fall break trip students and faculty took with the Office of Diversity and Inclusion.
Hey, this is Kevin Love from the Cleveland Cavaliers. Right now, many of us feel anxious. Mindfulness can help you ease those feelings. My nonprofit is partnering with Headspace to offer free content to help you stress less. Head to kevinlovefund.org/headspace.
Here's to the straggly ones, the first ones. Hey, I look good with this ones. The black, brown, red, and gray ones. The itchy ones. The ones grown by Dad. The ones grown for Dad. The I nearly didn't do it this year ones, and the absolutely filthy ones. They all raise awareness, raise funds, start conversations, and save lives. Because whatever you grow will save a bro. Learn more at Movember.com.
Welcome back to WCMO NewsCenter 15. Today we have a special feature to share. Over fall break, a group of over 30 Marietta College students and faculty traveled to Montgomery, Alabama to learn more about slavery, racism, and social justice issues.
Take a look now at the Exploring Black Slavery 1619 to Present trip. WCMO Cole Longcourt reports.
Thanks to an anonymous donor, 33 Marietta students and 3 faculty were able to spend fall break 2022 in Montgomery, Alabama. The trip, Exploring Black Slavery 1619 to Present, looks at systemic and historical issues regarding African Americans, slavery, mass incarceration, and other social justice issues. We were able to secure interviews with the 3 faculty members that went on the trip to learn more about the planning of the trip, the execution, and the major takeaways that the students and faculty gained during their 4 days in Alabama. Up first is Dr. Josh Jacobs, VP for Advancement.
I had the pleasure of visiting with one of Marietta College's alums who served on our board of trustees and who had a passion to support student experiences at Marietta College. And in our conversation, we were discussing what her next vision was for students at Marietta College. And one of the things that she had just experienced was a trip to Montgomery, Alabama with her college roommate to the sites of the Legacy Museum and the National Memorial for Peace and Justice. And they had toured Montgomery and they had an awakening. They had an awareness of history that they didn't feel they had been exposed to previously in such a tight, meaningful way. And so she came back and said, I want to create an opportunity for students to have the same experience I did. And so we started the conversation about what that looked like. How many students? How many times a year? Are we going to do this once? Are we going to do this multiple times? And she challenged the college to put together a trip that would take as many students as possible to Montgomery for 4 days.
The trip is really important for Office Diversity and Inclusion. Because, as I mentioned earlier, a lot of my programming, we have the experts here, and a lot of faculty, students read about these events and when it comes to diversity and multiculturalism, but to actually be there, be at these locations and sites and talk to people that were involved. We talked to 2 people that were foot soldiers on Bloody Sunday and the Voting Rights March from Selma to Montgomery, and to hear their stories. And be able to empathize with them just a little bit. Of course, we can never empathize fully with any one particular person or culture, but to be able to empathize a little bit, I think was mesmerizing and fascinating, not just for myself, but I seen the changes in the eyes of the other students as well as they encased themselves in a culture that was different than them.
I think the experience was a really positive one. I was really struck by the quickness with which the groups started to break out of its small, comfort zones with, there were groups of students who already knew one another before the trip, who were comfortable around one another, started to see those groups integrating with other groups fairly quickly, and the level of comfort that people had speaking, about their own thoughts, their own viewpoints, their own experiences, their own responses to things that they were seeing and learning, created an environment that I felt was very healthy, very productive, very respectful, and that I think makes a huge difference in what the students take away from this experience. And obviously those of us who are leading the group gain a lot from that as well, because no matter how many times you visit places like this and engage with that history, there's always something new to learn, a new perspective to come away with.
And there certainly always is something more to learn and explore. On behalf of all Marietta students and staff, I would like to thank the donor who made this trip possible. This is Cole Encore signing off. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks for that future story, Cole, and thanks to the faculty and donors who made such a trip possible.
Coming up, Kim Kardashian was honored at Monday's Council of Fashion Designers.
We'll also get the latest from Hollywood.
And after one more bit of a heat up tomorrow, we'll have a really cold weekend ahead of us. Stay tuned for the 5-day forecast after the break.
Where are we?
We're at Marietta College.
This is where we live at Marietta College.
When kids need medical care, they face life-changing experiences. They miss out on the things that make being a kid fun. Starlight Children's Foundation programs entertain and inspire hospitalized kids. Learn more at starlight.org.
Marietta, a place some people call home.
A place of athletes.
A place of discovery.
A place for the future.
Your plan.
Your future.
Go Pios. Kim Kardashian was honored at Monday's Council of Fashion Designers of America Fashion Awards for her shapewear line and used the honor to call for designers to be inclusive of all body shapes. Kardashian was awarded the first ever Innovation Award presented by Amazon Fashion for her brand, Skims. Co-founder and CEO Jens Greed and founding partner and Chief Product Officer Emma Greed also joined Kardashian to receive the award.
Someone who bought a Powerball ticket in Southern California has won a record of $2.04 billion Powerball jackpot after more than 3 months without anyone hitting top prize. The winning numbers were selected Tuesday morning, nearly 10 hours after the scheduled Monday night drawing because of problems processing sales data at one of the game's member lotteries. A Tyrannosaurus Rex skull unearthed in South Dakota is expected to sell for $15 million or more at auction in New York next month.
The 200-pound skull fossil, nicknamed Maximus, is being sold December 9th by an owner who wishes to remain anonymous. The skull was excavated in 2020 and 2021 in Hardin County, where other T-Rex skeletons like Sue and Stan were found. If you are a Wolverine, a Hugh Jackman fan, we have a surprise for you, and we have a look at a documentary that honors singer Ronnie James Dio.
Here's Landon Santini with the Hollywood Minute.
All right, let's see here. Ryan Reynolds broke Twitter with his latest bombshell. It appears he'll be joined by Hugh Jackman as Wolverine.
And terrifying. But we did have one idea. Hey, Hugh, you want to play Wolverine one more time?
Yeah, sure, Ryan.
Certainly looking forward to that. For example, a lot of people didn't know Ronnie was a doo-wop singer, and he played the trumpet when he was like 15 with Bobby Darin and with Ryan Reynolds. Oh man, this is going fantastic. As Wolverine in Deadpool 3, even though Jackman has said repeatedly he would not return as Wolverine, who died in 2017's Logan, we'll see what happens when Deadpool 3 debuts September 6, 2024. This report is all over the place, but we've got... Let's see. This has got to be the documentary that famous Hollywood singer is about. Dio, Dreamers Never Die, gave even hardcore fans of the legendary heavy metal vocalist something new. For example, a lot of people didn't know Ronnie was a doo-wop singer, and he played the trumpet when he was like 15 with Bobby Darin and Gene Pitney, but you already knew that. The film plays in select theaters. Check DioDreamersNeverDie.com for theaters and showtimes. With your Hollywood Minute, I'm Landon Santini. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Landon. We're going to head right back to you for a look at our extended forecast.
How does it look out there, Landon?
Well, certainly it looks a lot better than that Hollywood report I did. That was just outright abysmal. And as you can see here, the western portion of the country is dealing with a bit of a cold front. It looks like they're coming down from Vancouver. It looks like they're getting their bit of snow stretching down to some rain in the warmer Los Angeles areas. And we could be dealing with some potential precipitation too. You could see some rain coming down from the Great Lakes. We're going to be having a relatively calm experience in the Mid-Ohio Valley today, and through a good chunk of tomorrow. It presents a danger for potential wildfires, but as long as you're careful going out and about, we shouldn't have anything to worry about for the day. Going on into the 5-day forecast, you can see as we start our weekend with another drastic warm-up of 69, with a high of 69 and relatively sunny conditions. Going into the weekend, we'll be starting our massive cool-down period with a round of thunderstorms, likely stemming from the warm-up we'll be having tomorrow, with a high of 54. Continuing on into the weekend, we'll be ending with the rain with mostly cloudy conditions and a cool-down of a high of 46. Cooling down even further for the churchgoers on Sunday with partly sunny conditions, a high of 42. And we begin our next work week on Monday with the coolest temperatures we've had at the beginning of the work week for several months now, with partly cloudy conditions, an expected high of 44. So, yeah, refrain from doing anything involving a barbecue or bonfires today and tomorrow. And after a bit of rain on Friday, yeah, now is the time to definitely pull out the heavy coats. We'll talk a little bit more about that when we return later on at the end of the program. Until then, back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you, Landon. When we come back, Hunter will join us with an update from the world of sports.
See you in a few.
James Brown and Bill Cowher welcoming you back to the Midnight Snack Run. This is one tricky obstacle course. He's reaching, but he pushes it away. He's approaching a plate of iced cookies. He blows right by him. Oh, the fridge. Looks like he's headed for the soda. Wait, he jukes left, grabs the water bottle. Now he's just got to get out of there. Look what dropped from the sky. Don't do it, Dennis. That's the way you execute a Midnight Snack Run. Stand Up to Cancer and Rally want you to reduce your risk for cancer. Go to takeahealthystand.org.
Marietta College, home of the pioneers. A small town on the Ohio River with a tight-knit community and tons of opportunity. Find a home here at Marietta College. Bring forth a pioneer.
What are we gonna do? Ta-da! All right. Come on, every pony. Woo!
Liza, I just love how ponies are better together.
Me too. You know, same thing with Girl Scouts, Kamiko. Every day they make each other shine a little brighter.
And they make the world around them a better place. So join Girl Scouts.
And be a part of the friendship and magic.
And now we're back with Hunter for a look at sports.
What's been happening in the world of sports?
I can give you all a rundown right now. Georgia was the new #1 in college football playoff rankings Tuesday night, followed by Ohio State, Michigan, and TCU. The Bulldogs' rise from #3 was no surprise after their dominant victory against previously top-ranked Tennessee on Saturday. Clemson, which was #4 in the selection committee's first rankings last week, also lost, clearing the way for changes in the top 4. Ohio State stayed at 2. The Buckeyes' Big Ten rival from Michigan moved up from 5 to 3. TCU jumped 3 spots to #4, putting the nation's 4 unbeaten teams at the top of the rankings. It's going to be challenging to stay here, TCU coach Sonny Dykes said during ESPN's ranking show. Tennessee fell to #5 and was followed by Oregon from the Pac-12 and LSU, which jumped 3 spots to 7th after the Tigers knocked off Alabama. Halfway through the 2022 season, it appears NFL defenses have finally started catching up. After a 5-year run of hot-shot quarterbacks sliding up scoreboards and leaving defenses with few answers, the pendulum has turned away from the offense for a change. With star quarterbacks like Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, and Russell Wilson showing signs of decline as they age, a new crop led by 5 first-round draft picks in 2021 has been slow to develop. And defenses geared towards limiting big plays in the passing game have put offensive production in a significant decline at the halfway mark. Right after the Colts' befuddling press conference Monday in order to introduce Jeff Saturday as the interim head coach, Frank Wright had hired a head coach with no coaching experience at all after the other head coaches was fired when benching their starting quarterback, Matt Ryan. And finally, the International Skating Union rises the minimum age limit to 17 years old to compete in competitions. Congress said it can be inappropriate for the age and can put them at a high risk not only physically but mentally too, and hurts the social development of the child. For now, that's all I have in the world of sports. I'm Hunter Withrow. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Hunter. Joining us now at the desk is Landon for our last look at the weather.
To very quickly sum it up, after a drastic warm-up up to 69 tomorrow, we're going to be having a cool down starting with a round of thunderstorms on Friday, and then temperatures dropping down to the mid to low 40s throughout the rest of the weekend and into the next work week on Monday. So we're finally getting those more consistent fall temperatures, it looks like. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention this, because if I don't, it's going to drive me crazy. Hugh Jackman is going to be reprising his role as Wolverine with Ryan Reynolds in Deadpool 3 in 2024. And that heavy metal music artist that's going to be in that new documentary is named Ronnie James Dio, and that documentary will be called Dio, Dreamers Never Die. So we can be happy that we're going to be having some cool downs for weather this weekend, and I can be happy that I finally got that information out to you lovely television viewers out there and did not deliver fake news. So I can go home happy and relieved, and I'm sure you all can as well.
Yes. Thanks for joining us for our Wednesday edition of WCMO TV, Channel 15 at 12:30 and 6:30. From all of us here at the station, we wish you a great rest of the week.